Hi there, it's Ricky from Moshville Times here once again. I'm delighted to welcome Dumfries technical death metal band Bloodthread. We have the guitarist vocalist Tony, we've got the bassist Chris, and we've got the drummer Dickie. So how are you guys doing? How have you been coping through lockdown? Have you been lucky enough to keep your jobs and everything, or was it a wee bit crazy during the summer?
All three of us are still working away, unfortunately. Apparent key workers, but I'd say that's up for debate.
So you're all lucky enough to keep your jobs?
Yeah. Not too bad, not too bad, as Tony said. Just working our way through. Would have been nice to get some of that furlough, though. So a wee kind of 80% pay holiday. I wouldn't have minded that a wee bit, Would have been all right.
We could have wrote some more songs, but it is what it is.
Exactly.
I'll be coming on to that. So are you working from home, Chris?
A wee bit. So here and there, I've got a couple of big projects. Things are still pushing ahead with us. So I could do admin stuff at home, but I just had to be honest with them. I had to be like, look, guys, I'm getting shag all done. I'm watching Bargain Hunt. I'm spending most of my day watching absolutely terrible TV. So I just had to be honest. So I'm in most of the time now because I'm too honest.
You better watch. You might be watching this.
Oh, okay. No, I was honest anyway. Hi, I had my whole viewing schedule.
What about you, Dickie? You've been working all the way through. You not had any time off, then?
No, man. The plus side for me, I work in social care, so it's been, if anything, a license for me to print money. I'm making the best money I've ever earned, but working for it. There's a lot of people that did have to take some time off, so I'm greedy, as I say, when it comes to money, so I'm more than happy to pick up the slack there. But yeah, it's been good. I've had a little mix as well, because I've got two jobs within the same company, so I've done some working from home, which has spurred me on to kind of set up a wee home office. But yeah, I couldn't do it all the time, so respect to those that are having to stay home. It would kill me.
Oh, it's driving me nuts looking at a computer screen all day, every day. It's driving me bonkers.
I could imagine, man.
But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about all things Bloodthread. So with the continued lockdown then, have you been using this time constructively and written more songs?
Well, we were lucky enough where we are that we had some time in some lower tiers of restrictions.
Yeah.
So we're able to get some kind of jams in the garden and kind of get the acoustics and the banjos out around the campfire and write some riffs. But yeah, we had a bit of progress. We've all kind of worked on our own kind of home setups to keep it going and keep tracking, keep fresh. And
were you actually trying to remember who was in the band? What is it you play again?
I get those maracas out, Bez. Come on.
Did I see a post on Facebook that you're building your own studio or something like that?
We've been in it for a wee while now, but yeah, we're lucky enough to have our own little paradise about 2 miles from any houses in the middle of the woods.
Yeah,
that we can go and make a racket till 6 a.m. if we need to. So DIY or die.
I think it was in one of the tiers of lockdowns. We actually managed to just move all the equipment outside and just have an outside practice as well, which was nice. Opening a festival with nobody watching but sheep, but it's something.
Cool. Is that a nice tasty wee dram you're having, Dickie?
It is, pal, aye. Just a wee nice bourbon.
Quite right, man, quite right.
Very nice, man, very nice.
Aye. So you're allowed to swear and you're allowed to drink. Oh, well, there you go, you're having a beer as well. So with the lockdown then, and you've been in your separate houses and stuff like that, how are you communicating your ideas to each other?
Even before lockdown, Guitar Pro is key to Bloodthread. Program it all in MIDI, email it to each other. If everyone plays all those notes, we're all playing it right. That's fine.
It's just a kind of translating it into guitar language. We know how it sounds, we can play it, but how do you tell a computer how to play those gammy time signatures?
Fun stuff.
So Dick, is Tony that type of guy that will send you a riff at 4 o'clock in the morning?
That's my most productive hours,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, I've got a top 10, my favourite click tracks of 2020.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So you've written some songs then. Is it one or two songs? Are you looking at 3, 4, 5 songs, or they're completed?
We've got probably a solid EP's worth at least, I'd say. Good. I think we've pretty much wiped the slate clean for what was our kind of live set. Hopefully going forward, got a fair chunk of new stuff. We're just hopefully going to iron the creases out when we get back to jamming together.
Yeah.
Quite painful to have all that. It's like having a loaded gun that you can't cock, you know.
Aye, I know. So for those that are new to the band, then how would you say the new songs compare to your early material? And do you think that you found the sound that you've been looking for with this new material then?
I would say, we're giving ourselves more space. I think, the world's given us more time, and we've taken that time. Obviously, there were some issues with members coming in and out, people having to leave for various reasons. And where perhaps before we'd go into a slump there, it just seemed that the three of us, whilst, worrying and thinking about other things, we just got really, really creative for a good few months. It wasn't the odd riff. It was, here's a song, the next week, here's another song, but this one's 7 minutes. So yeah, we're not slowing down. It's no less technical. It's probably more technical, but we're certainly kind of honing that sound down, giving ourselves more room. And I think we've all, not just with lockdown, just in general, we've all really improved at our instruments and songwriting. So yeah, it's all pluses really. Apart from not being able to see each other and play shows, I think we've taken a lot of positives.
Well, I remember in 2017 for my year end for Moshville Times, I did mention Era of Corruption in there. So if you're saying that you've improved on that, then I'm certainly looking forward to hearing the song. So what do you think, Tony? What about the sound then? Do you agree with Dickie completely?
I'd say having us just down to kind of bare bones as a 3-piece means we've just been able to absolutely fire through it. And I think it's probably a bit more mosh pit friendly and a bit less kind of edgy, some of it, but in no way kind of simpler. There's also some bits that are going to definitely catch you. But I'm loving it. But what can I say? When your ideas in your head turn into fucking sonic assault, then what's not to love?
Excellent. So how long have you been in the band, Chris?
Oh, that's been, what is it? That been 3-4 years now? Scary that. No, it's probably about that. Like, I joined at the same time as Scott, so no, it's been good. When I first joined, kind of it was a quite fast paced, learning all the songs, getting back on the road, and we had a good year that year, maybe year and a half. We actually had a really good year. We had a booking agent that was getting us gigs all over the country. That was maybe had its own stresses around that, like, but brilliant experience. So it's been nice to kind of have this downtime, I suppose you could call it. Maybe not a hiatus, but just this downtime to really focus on us, get some new material down. As Tony was saying, have this whole new bag of tricks ready to perform when we finally can. Really, which will be, I cannot wait now.
But he's not bringing any glam metal into it, anything like that, is he, Tony?
I've suggested it. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
we're trying out the spandex, but it's a bit sweaty, like so.
So do you think Chris is a bit of an influence as to the change in the sound, or do you think it's as a whole you've all improved in your own instruments, or do you think Chris has brought his own wee bit in?
It's definitely brought some influence. It's good. He's a guitarist as well, so the riffs are plenty that can bounce off each other, and it's nice. If it's just one person writing, I find sometimes like you keep falling into the same kind of pitfalls and whatnot. But when you've got someone else to say that's pure mince, try this, then it's always a good thing. He's quite honest. There's not much tact, and I appreciate that. Like.
So you guys are a 3-piece just now. Is there scope later on, like when you can get out and play and things like that, to go back up to a 4-piece? Are you happy with it?
The last gig we played of 2020, I think it was the weekend before lockdown, we played in Edinburgh as a 3-piece, and we kind of worked on that and we've had a couple of bodies in kind of trying to jam with us and whatnot. And hey, if someone wants to come and learn the riffs and throw something down, then I don't think anyone would ever object. But we've got a nice tight unit with some good chemistry just now. So also there's a bit of, if it's not broken, you know.
Well, that's certainly pleasing to hear. Thanks a lot, guys. So has the world situation made you look inwards with the band and looked at ways to keep the name of Bloodthread out there, like keeping the fans interested and up to date with developments? Have you made it look at the more business side of the band?
It's been nice to play catch up on the kind of behind the scenes, as Briggsy kind of touched upon, saying we had quite a busy year kind of on the road, out every other weekend and that then. But I think we almost actively took a choice not to go crazy on social media and try and keep busy during this lockdown, because until we've got a new product, you're kind of flogging a dead horse at that point. Like, so retreat, regroup, come out swinging once everything's ready. We've got a single that we managed to track throughout lockdown, getting mixed at the moment by big man Dave at Circa 16. He's doing some work for us just now, so hopefully we'll have something out. I'd like to put a date on it, but lockdown restrictions, you never fucking know what's around the corner. So
Did you?
yeah.
It's going to be very strange releasing something without, you know, the gig.
Aye, doing it. Actually doing it. Yeah, man. Yeah.
I feel sorry for like the new folk that are making it big on the radio at the moment and not being able to go out and tour and sell out these stadiums, and then by the time this lockdown's lifted, they might be fucking gone.
Yeah, you do feel sorry for bands that have released albums last year.
Sure.
Completely, yeah, totally.
Play a year, you know, it's old material. I mean, I interviewed a band last night, Ward 16. You probably won't know them, but it's like Alice Cooper type stuff. But they got on so many album of the year lists, but can't do anything. They can't do it.
Yeah.
You can only say that you're in the same situation as everybody else. We just have to be patient. But we're going to be spoiled for choice when the venues open again. You know, you'll have gigs on every night. So here's hoping.
Absolutely.
So how are the songs constructed in the studio then? Are they the main songwriters of the songs, or is Bloodthread the band where all members contribute?
Most of the songwriting, I'd say, is probably written with the three of us in the room at the moment. Or at least, well, until...
It was. Aye.
But
a lot of pressure taken off you, Tony. Were you writing 50% of the material or something like that, then Dickie would come in or whatever like that, or?
No, not at all. I think it's always been a kind of combined effort, meeting of the minds.
Yeah.
What there is of them.
We all play a bunch of instruments to, you know, some standard. So I think even just to the point that we can get our ideas across to each other. Yeah. You know, Tony can jump on the drums, or, you know, I can't play guitar for shit, but I can write a jiggy breakdown in a weird time signature.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's quite nice sometimes, because sometimes you've got like an original idea that comes to the table, we all like it, and we kind of go in that direction.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll bring riffs to the table and they're ripped apart and we go in a completely different direction. Not salty or anything, like.
Can't help it.
But no, it's all good. It's all broken. But that's the thing, though. If we know what we want to sound like and we know what direction we're wanting to push for, then yeah, of course, it's all constructive.
Yeah,
constructive.
We certainly have our own language, though, that no one can understand. I think that was one of the things we put on Instagram or Facebook or something. It's just, you know, whatever size it is, like A1 sheet of paper, ramblings of a maniac. If anyone can play that, we'll give you a tenner, because it does not make sense to anyone but us.
Good stuff. So, like, what about the songs themselves then? Is there a bit of negotiation going on? Like, how is everybody in the band about negotiating what stays in and what goes out of a song? Is there usually like a vote or something like that? Or you just say, nah, I don't like that, Chris, or I don't like that, Dickie, take that out and everything's fine? Or is there sometimes fisticuffs in the studio and blood on the wall and everything like that?
Oh, there's no wrong with a wee shouting match, like, but yeah, we're all brothers, we can all fucking put up with each other.
No. Who's the one that goes in the huff?
I don't think anyone ever really objects with trying something different, and it probably does kind of go down to a democratic vote at the end of it, but not kind of as formal as that. Just whatever sounds best, really.
Yeah, we've all known
Right,
each other
that's
a
great.
really, really long time, and especially in regards to me and Tony, we've worked in bands together forever. So I think certainly we know when someone's going to back down, when they're not going to back down, and I think that's where the negotiation kind of happens in our own heads. In that, right? So Dickie's not going to back down from this, but let's change it to where I'm happy with it as well. That kind of thing.
Aye. No compromise, but sometimes middle ground.
Aye.
And you're the guys with the muscles anyway, Dickie, so nobody argues with you. I know.
No, after lockdown, pal. The muscles do there.
So, Tony, with you being the vocalist of the band then, and with all this new material, do you write all the lyrics of the songs, or do you welcome contributions from all the band?
Well, we're kind of guttural akimbo nowadays. Mr. Briggs in the corner picking up some vocal duties as well now. So
try my best anyway. But it's a real skill. Like, you don't realise how much skill there is to it to keep those notes going. So trying at least. Was that?
To be honest,
no comment.
I don't see myself as much a lyricist, really, but it's usually the last thing to kind of come together. It's usually about 6 months after the song's done. I've pieced something together and then bounced it round the room and, right, guys, can you think write a word with 8 syllables that rhymes with fucking dismembered? You know what I mean? We get there.
Can I just say off the bat as well, there's nothing more pleasing on the live environment than seeing more than one vocalist. I love bands that have 2 or 3 vocalists. It just adds so much to the song. So, Chris,
absolutely a new dynamic and just another layer of thunder.
Yeah,
love it.
So, are you the clean singer, Chris, or would you say that you're more of a? Are you
a clean singing
deeper growl than Tony, or you are a more hard singer, or?
I think our growls are they're pretty similar kind of frequency range, but Tony can do a lot more of the higher stuff, so it really cuts through. You'll hear it hopefully in the new recording as well. It really cuts through. Some of it's just kind of backing Tony up. I've got quite a few kind of solo bits as well. So no, I've been enjoying it. It's been really good. It's playing live though, and just trying to do your bass parts or guitar parts or whatever, and try not and pass out as you're growling as well. I don't see how people do it. Absolutely mental. But no, it's been a good adventure so far.
Yeah. So obviously, Tony, you do a lot of the screams and the growls and everything like that. How do you train your voice? Especially when you're recording in the studio, when you have to do it line by line, maybe take after take. Is it especially grueling on your throat?
The recording the single that we're working on just now was probably the hardest bit of vocals I've ever done in my life, just from lack of practice for 6 months before it. It's the longest I'd made a racket for, and I was suffering the next day. But I usually practice in the car, driving by myself, tunes up, put some Decapitated on or some fucking Dayside on and go wildy, It does me fine.
Quite right.
We're in the shower, great reverb in the shower.
So what about you, Dickie? Obviously you're the drummer and things like that, but I take it you don't have a drum kit in your living room. So how have you been?
No.
Well.
No. I've kind of... So when we were in a less kind of intense lockdown, I was going out to the studio when I could, jamming with the guys as well. But I think we've all been kind of playing that long. I mean, this is a shocking thing to say. The only metal I really play drum-wise is Bloodthread. So I almost don't look at it like drums. I've got a little beat-up electric kit. I've got some stuff that Tony gave me as well, so I can kind of practice and keep my hands as fast as they were. But no, I've been concentrating on. I've been playing a lot of guitar just now, which is really helping. Even just I'll send guys chords, so I know that I want it to go down here, and I know that I want it to be in this kind of dodgy count, and just having a little bit more musical input, if you will.
Yeah.
My
But no,
Snapchat is
practicing drums has been a
currently-
nightmare.
Because you're a wee bit of a multi-instrumentalist, do you not, Dickie? Like, I'm sure I've seen you playing the piano and stuff like that as well.
We all are. Mr. Briggs is the virtuoso. He's got banjo, piano, but yeah, we've all got a bit of a musical education. We just choose to ignore it. But yeah, I've finally learned how to play a 7-string, or at least play a chord on a 7-string. So I'm getting there.
No, my
Onwards and upwards.
Snapchat is relentlessly inundated with Dickie sending me him playing fucking bluegrass at 4 a.m. between night shifts. You know? Love it.
Good stuff, man. So there will of course be no live shows in the near future, but with the hope of a vaccine in the horizon, do you have plans towards late in the summer, towards the end of the year?
Well, we've got loads booked that just keeps getting cancelled, so we might as well have it booked now, so we're not trying to get the venues that are all booked up when they open. So we'll just keep hanging on, keep patient. Do you want to play this? Of course we do. Yes, say yes. We'll find out what the actual date is closer to the time, you know?
Aye.
We'll take anything. We'll take anything going. Your grandma's birthday party, sign us up.
Right.
Especially like Glasgow promoters who have always, treated us like we belong in Glasgow. They've always treated us brilliantly. As I can think of a fair few, and anything that we've had, I know it's good for their business. I know it's good for the bigger bands on the bill, but they're honouring those commitments of us. And if it is postponed, we keep our place on the bill and stuff. And it's really nice, especially when we have taken that kind of active idea not to be really socially media present because of just lack of content. It's nice that people are still, we're in
It's not that
people's
we're being
brains.
lazy. We're getting it ready, and we'll come out swinging when the time's right. You know what I mean? But
oh yeah, it's going to be a different Bloodthread in 2027 when we can gig.
I noticed that you had a good big couple of gigs coming up, like Scordatura with Fetal Juice as well. You had Man Must Die as well. They're going to be massive.
Making me sad, Ricky.
What's that?
You're making me sad.
But I mean, I'm even speaking to like other bands, and they're just taking 2020 copy, 2021 paste, and hopefully it will be 2021,
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. So looking back on Era of Corruption, then that's over a few years old now. Would you change anything about it, like the sound of it, or do you think there's a part that's too long, you wish you'd shortened it or anything like that, or you still, that's a pivotal part of the Bloodthread history and they wouldn't change anything?
No, I'd leave it as is. To be honest, it was the sound of the band at the time in that, pardon the pun, era. Yeah. And if I realised Whitechapel had an album with a similar title, I'd probably change the name of the release. But like,
yeah. No, cool.
I was happy with the time. It's all. I think going forward, that'll sound like the building blocks to the heavier and better now.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a kind of not a gradual transition, but noticeable tip of the hats to it and whatnot. But yeah, I liked it at the time.
We kind of spoke about it briefly last night between the three of us, because obviously we knew with that being the last release that would come up, and I think the general consensus was, yeah, we're still really proud of it, and it sounds really cliche. We learned a lot from it. We've learned what was good, what was bad. Recording this one round, it's been much different.
Yeah.
I mean, Tony's put some real graft in, like learning how to record stuff. See, that's how little graft I've put in, record stuff. That's the extent of my knowledge. But yeah, just to know that we're sitting in our little DIY studio, we're recording me battering along to some drums, taking it to an engineer, putting some riffs over it, and just knowing that it works, that's like a real sense of pride. So things are different, but yeah, it's really good. Sound wise, yeah, it's not completely different, but yeah,
good.
It kind of measures up.
This recording we've got just now, it was almost like a little tester for ourselves, seeing if our system works, and if it does, then we'll be throwing stuff out pretty thick and fast, rather than having to book time for tracking and find an engineer to mix it. We're hoping to get our man at Circa 16 to be on the regular mix, and we'll just be tracking it through the week and just keep sending it over. I think that'll hopefully be the future if it all turns out well. You can let us know when we drops.
Like we're not ignorant to the fact that it has been far too long. You know, for anyone that wants to listen to Bloodthread, it has been far too long. It's been far too long for us. So I think we've put in some really good kind of foundation blocks here that we are going to be able to start rolling out singles. You know, a lot of people are saying singles and 4-tracks and stuff. That's the way forward, and I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
Keep current, keep new stuff out, you know?
Yeah. So do you think the lockdown has just made you focus more on the music, get the riffs done, get everything done? Or was it always going to be at this pace? It was always going to be a couple of years before your next release? Or do you think with the lockdown it speeded things up a wee bit?
This fucking single should have been out before the lockdown, but with members in and out, and we can make as many excuses as you want, but it's all felt apart, and we're clambering it back together now.
So even the new single is an old song?
Well,
it's the oldest of the new ones that you've got?
Aye, yes. We played it once at the last gig of 2020, and that's been about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
then we made the whole world sick, so it must be good.
Yeah.
Did you play it live without any mistakes?
No comment. I think that was my first gig doing the vocals as well. So,
well, it wasn't released, so we've got artistic. What do you call it? Artistic
license.
That's the one. So yeah, no, it wasn't wrong. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only got a couple more questions, but I'm maybe showing my age a wee bit here. Before the internet, magazines and fanzines were the places to find out about new bands and trends, but now publications have been replaced with thousands of websites catering for all genres. So do you think that some of the passion's been lost, or do you think that the internet's been a good thing for music and a good thing for Bloodthread?
Well, I've got this month's Zero Tolerance next door, so I've not stopped buying the magazines. So I've got a pile of Fear Candy CDs, as you can see, you know.
Yeah.
No, I think both have definitely got their highlights. The internet's always going to be more up to date because you can get the news to you now. It's not next month we're looking back at it and whatnot. And just through algorithms, you might stumble upon something that you might not know about. It's always a bonus, but I think there's place for both. If I didn't, then we wouldn't be talking to you here. You know what I mean?
Very true. What about yourself?
I think it's brilliant for the consumer, isn't it? Like, you've got so much choice. You can listen to absolutely anything. You've got multiple digital radio stations. You've got releases that can just fly out. And as a kind of producer of music as well, you've got your pros as well. You can, as Tony's saying, all digital setups and things. You can record in your kitchen. You can record wherever you want. You can get things down on track, send it away to a sound man, get all that out, so you can get things flying through, easily uploaded. You don't need to put it straight to disc and get your disc distributed or anything like that. But on the other side, it's a tough market. It's completely saturated with everything, and it's hard to kind of be unique. Something that's maybe not done before, something that just stays in somebody's ear and keeps you in their ear, really. I think it's hard for bands, music producers, all that kind of thing. So I'd say two sides, bit of a seesaw.
Cool, Chris, thanks a lot for that. What about yourself, Dickie?
Yeah, like I kind of agree with like a lot of points that the guys have made there.
Yeah.
I think digital media is a great thing, and I think social media is an absolute toxic waste of time. You know, there was a big thing raised last year in regards to a certain streaming website, which I do use, you know, and I do get a piddly wee paycheck every year, about just how consumable, you know, your man at the top was saying, how consumable music has to be. and I can't remember who it was, but I read an article on paper. So yeah, I still buy magazines as well. And they're basically saying they're wanting musicians on a 9 to 5 with deadlines and targets, and they're wanting quantity, not quality. They're actually saying that now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of not the reason I think any musician gets into it.
Yeah.
If you're getting into this for money, then you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, something we've kind of spoke about, because as I've said, we're all, the three of us, are really, really old friends. So we talk a lot, more so online. But we were saying the other night about it's a big thing as well just now on social media about the elitism and the gatekeeping. I keep seeing that gatekeeping word, which is to me a lot of nonsense. Because we consider ourselves, a live band, probably more so than a studio band. But I mean, you've seen us yourself, Ricky, a few times.
Yeah.
I'm never saying that we're the ugly duckling and that we shouldn't be on certain shows, but we're quite often the wild card, which I think we thrive on. But if elitism in metal became the norm, then I think that's going to put more kind of blocks in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of find ourselves too death for a grind show, too prog for a death show, too death for a cool show. But I don't know, sore thumb syndrome can be a good thing. Like, maybe folk will remember what the fuck were they all about in the middle. But yeah, like as you say, elitism, no time for that online. But as for getting the news to you, it's a valuable asset, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that, guys. There's a lot of valid points there. I mean, speaking to guys since the early 90s and stuff like that, there was nothing better than sending a couple of pound away, getting a cassette demo back. But the difference then was that you would listen to it, it's all right. But then you would listen to it again and listen to it again because you've invested in it, and you'll give the band a fair chance. Now you go on to something like Spotify, something like 10 seconds. Oh, that's pish. There's another stuff. You just instantly dismiss the band.
Well, notice yourself, Ricky. I mean, how much music are you sent a month to listen to?
I wish it was my full-time job, put it that way. Job, but there's no money in it, as you say. I don't get paid for this. I just do this in my own time, But you do it for the passion of music and promoting bands.
Absolutely, power to you,
man. Good on you.
Right, hold on. Right, thanks for that, guys. But I also noticed behind you, Chris, you've got a keyboard behind you, and I know that, Dickie, you also play the piano. So have you ever thought about bringing those kind of influences into the songs?
Aye, well, when we lost the kind of last guitarist, obviously going to a three-piece is always going to have kind of a different tone, a different kind of depth. Yeah, limitations to it. Like, so we're talking about what the future could hold, whether we're going to go click track, backing track, have that played along with us, maybe just doing something like that, maybe a bit of tiddling on the keys when we're doing recording. Yeah. But we've talked about everything, maybe a bit of synth as well, so really that kind of ominous sound as well during big breaks. So yeah, we've talked about anything. I think anything's on the cards instrumental wise. Yeah.
I mean, some of my old loves are like Behemoth and Acrococky, and you've got plenty of synth and orchestration, and I'm always up for a bit of that, like as long as it's done tastefully, not just full pelt all the time with another instrument, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't object to it, as Briggsy says, with kind of some backing tracks, unless some sort of mad windmilling keyboarder comes out the rafters, I think.
Yeah, man, like, I watch like Periphery making of albums like Wayne's Watch Frozen. Like, I just watch them constantly, and I really like the idea, and I'm starting to understand the idea of like where a synth line, or an underlying synth line might actually be better than just having an underlying guitar, like another guitar.
Calm yourself.
All at the job.
I don't know how these work. I know how these work. But I think, not to put too broad like a term on it, but I think anything's possible with us going forward. We're definitely going to be coming out with a completely different live show whether we go down the click track route, who knows?
Yeah.
But it is a possibility. And I think we're getting to the stage now, as I said earlier on in the interview, about, you know, we have all improved greatly at our instruments, and we've also got sort of more musical knowledge. I think if we tried it and we thought it was going well and we were doing it properly, you know, the first couple of tracks that we write might be a bit over the top, but you learn with everything that you need to hone it back. Like when a guy first learns how to sweep pick, that's all he's going to do. You know, it's going to be the same. Like moving forward, when we're talking about perhaps putting some different sorts of orchestration into the songs, it's going to be learning. Everything's a learning curve.
Yeah.
Learning how to do that properly, effectively, and making sure that it's for the good of the song.
Yeah.
I think the three of us with that could have a really good live show, but we never
We've
want
got a
to
sample of Ben Laurie in a song at the moment. Anything's possible. Like.
Yeah, exactly. That's not even a lie. Yeah.
I mean, I don't see you guys putting as much orchestration as a band for like Septic Flesh, for example. But yeah, certainly we interludes here and there. But something being a three-piece though does worry me, and you've already highlighted it, like being in the live front. Like Tony, when you're going to have to play a guitar solo and there's no other guitar, it just sounds empty.
A few bands can pull it off, and the folk who tend to do it tend to be pretty virtuosic. You know what I mean? I ain't no fucking dime bag of that. Like, but I think I mean, you still got fucking Hate Eternal, Dying Fetus, fucking Origin. Who else has got
completely?
If the song's written for one guitar, then there's no harm in that. We've also kind of really embraced the digital era of equipment at the moment, so we're looking into some dual signal paths and routing and multiple amplifiers with kill switches and panning and stuff as well. So try and put the sound, make it sound like people.
We've got a really good attitude within the band, of especially now, possibly more so than ever, of, you know, again, it sounds very kind of hippy dippy-ish, but it's not that we can't do it. Maybe we can't do it yet. We really do apply ourselves. Yeah. So, for example, my feet were always my kind of down point. I had super fast hands and I could do really intricate things, and I was, you know, I'm just a Mike Portnoy fanboy that fell into death metal bands and pals with Tony, but you know, my feet weren't cutting the mustard, and it was actually Tony actually went out and bought me the trigger pickup and basically flung it at me and said, "That's what's happening now." And I would never have done that myself, because I always just said, "Oh well, my feet are crap, but I'll make up for it with my hands." And you know, it wasn't what the band needed. So I learned how to play fast double bass, and now I'm not saying that we just use that all the time and we fall back on that, but it's certainly brought something else.
Yeah, so you work in Arsenal, you know.
Exactly. Another tool to use. No calling you a tool.
Well, I think it was Cattle Decapitation that I reviewed you on the live front, and I do remember saying that you had 4 arms and four legs with the speed that you were playing the drums. So,
if I'm playing a gig alongside Dave McGraw from Cattle Decapitation and you're picking out my drums is good, job's done.
And Tony, you'd have been playing at your skin that night, like.
And Tony, before you feel left out and stuff like that, I did refer you to as the vocalist from Aka Cocker. I think you remember that.
And I'll do me, like.
Jason.
I'll do me.
Chris, you're just the bassist. Anyway, so.
Always.
What was I going to say? Right, we're on to our last question. It's probably the one that you're going to talk about more. So we'll talk with you, Chris, first. So you obviously play the bass, but what make and model of bass do you play with then for the band?
So I'm currently playing a Traben Attack Chaos 3. That's a 5-string, and I have to say it is probably one of the beefiest sounds for active pickups I've ever actually heard.
Yeah.
And I've played quite a few decent Ibanezes. Ibanezes are lovely for the neck and you can fly through them. The Trabans, it's got a bit tougher to play, especially so we're playing in A standard, and my kind of low A is 175 gauge. So I don't know if you're clued up on your bass or
I'm not
guitar
technical with
strings.
that. No.
No, that is like they use the same gauge to hold up the fourth road bridge. So no, those big the big things that are holding up the bridge. Aye, so it's the
Now I
same
know you're
gauge as
taking the
that.
piss.
So
Mm.
oh, only slightly. So trying to learn to play something with that kind of a bigger gauge, those strings, it's tricky, but it
It's a big
comes
gauge and
with
it's a
the
big scale
sound.
and everything.
It comes with the depth. It comes with the sound. It comes a lot through the mid as well. So I've been really enjoying using that, and I've used that for about 6 or 7 years now, and I haven't not really looked back.
So why the 5 string and not just the
Mhm.
typical 4? What does the 5 string give you?
Oh, well, one, it was a bit easier to get to A standard, but still, I have a kind of playing technique where I like to follow the guitar a lot. I feel like it gives you that lovely unison, a lovely tight feel, like when there's such a fast riff and you've got all that room to move up the neck without kind of you call that laterally, whatever that way is, up the neck instead of it moving further towards the body of the neck. I feel like that it just makes it so much easier because obviously bass with your jumbo frets and stuff, it is a bit trickier doing the fast runs in comparison to guitar. So I feel like that's just given me a lot more room to breathe. It's there when I need it, and I'm not always worrying, oh, do I have to transpose this kind of like up the neck just to try and keep up. So that's why I've really enjoyed the 5.
Cool. Thanks very much. I never realised a bass was actually that technical, but that's great. Thanks very much for that. So what about yourself, Tony? What guitar are you using? What setup are you using? And speakers and your pedals and stuff?
Been playing it for years.
Yes.
Ibanez RGB. It looks like the Batmobile, but it's got more dings. I seen Ishan play one of these in a magazine years ago and lusted after it forever. Finally bought one thinking it'll be the last guitar I'll ever buy, and now I realise I need another one as a spare. But I absolutely love it. I've been the brand for Ibanez forever. Them and Maverick, the best necks, best setups, and Japanese made stuff is just out of this world. Quality control and craftsmanship. I pretty much sold most of my gear, much to my dismay. I sold my valve amps and a few of my pedals and whatnot, and bought a big rack-mounted Line 6 Helix supercomputer and a wee power amp. All intentions to run FR going forwards and have essentially 2 signals, 1 split left and right, kill switch on the feet, so I can chop in and out for guitar breaks and really still bring the chunk. Yeah, so it does me fine. I can almost carry my whole rig in one go, so that's been a great improvement than lugging fucking half stacks and valve heads up stupid wee flights of stairs in the back of shitey venues, you know.
Aye. So again, are you 7-string, aren't you?
7-string. I never really played 7-string until I joined Bloodthread, and they had quite a weird tuning when I joined, and we've just kind of stuck with that. It's like A standard on the top 6, and then a high D on top, which kind of gives you a bit more room to play up the top end, and still lets you get the big open chords. Whereas the fingering a bit ganky on that for a standard 7-string tuning. This is step down, I believe.
Yeah.
So same as Briggsy. Big thick strings, big fucking mammoth scale lengths, and bring the noise. You know what I mean? It's good.
So do you think you would ever go back to 6 strings, or will it always be 7 with Bloodthread because of the technicality?
Well, Bloodthread is kind of part of the sound, I think, being probably most cases, unless you're into your fucking sugars and whatnot, lowest tune band on the bill kind of brings a bit of fucking balls to it, even if we're playing shit, you know?
I don't know how long I've been in the band, and I still say when you hit that open A, I'm just like, yep,
boom.
That's fucking awesome.
My guitar I usually pick up's a 6-string I got for $100 out of Cash Generator, a Maverick Species, and it's just it was too good a bargain to turn down. And so I play a 6-string when I'm writing usually, but
Yeah.
I'm not usually plugged in, so it doesn't make that much of a difference. You're just kind of getting the feel of the intervals and whatnot. And it's when you're plugging in and jamming, it sounds a bit, I don't know, a bit pansy, some of the standard tuning there.
So what you're going to do when you go on a tour and you've got 4, 5, 6 dates, whatever like that, and you've got your one guitar with you and your string breaks, do you have a wee backup, or do you have to shit yourself for 5 minutes and try and fasten it again?
I've got a much cheaper equivalent of this guitar that I put similar electronics in that I've got as a backup. It kind of looks the same, but the closer you get, the shitter it is, you know.
Good stuff.
It does me on a spare. I used to be quite liable to rip through a string or two, so I'm working on it.
Cool. Thanks very much for that. Listen, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Oh, sorry, Dickie, I forgot about the drummer there, as most bands do.
You don't need him. Don't need him. Replace him with a drum machine.
So, Dickie,
I'll say three things about the gear that I use. Sabian cymbals, because they're just the most musical cymbals that can still bring an absolute fucking riot. I've tried loads and loads of different pairings, and I've never been disappointed. So Sabian cymbals all the way.
Yeah.
I was a Pearl fanboy for. This is a true story. Tony was there when he saw it. I actually saw it happen on my face. Oh, that's a dodgy. That's another story. No, I was a Pearl fanboy. I was a Pearl fanboy for over a decade, and then I played a beat up old Tama Superstar kit in some shithole studio somewhere in Glasgow, and I fell in love with it. The next day, I started making inquiries about buying one. Got myself one. They no longer made that drum. I needed an 8-inch tom. I needed an 8-inch tom. They didn't make it. I paid about the same price again that I paid for the kit to get that one 8-inch tom made, because I just fell in love with the kit so much.
Yeah. And
Balbeck's drumsticks, always cite these guys. I hand out stickers for Balbeck's and stuff at gigs, and I'm not endorsed. I used to get a little bit of an artist discount, but times change and things change, especially with COVID.
How heavy were the sticks? How heavy were the sticks?
5As. Right. I play fairly Jesse sticks for a death metal drummer.
Yeah.
Especially a 17.5 stone death metal drummer. But yeah.
They hold up though, eh?
Oh man, they are absolutely bomb-proof. Yeah. And I've got whereas I always wanted to play 5A for the weight, there was a certain company taken over by another company, and their sticks just got shit overnight. That's when there's actually some of the boys from Glasgow. Richie from Born in the Dream was actually the first guy that turned me on to Balbeck's drumsticks, and they're phenomenal. I've got real confidence in playing, as I say, I'm 17 and a bit stone and a heavy hitter, and these 5A drumsticks, I've got every confidence in them, and I seldom break them.
Yeah. You're like the Gene Hoglan of Scottish death metal, aren't you? So,
I'm not that far. Fuck off.
That was a compliment.
I meant the way that you hit the drums. You don't do tap, tap, tap when you play fast. You really fucking hit them.
Oh, yeah, man. My cymbal budget. That's the thing, though. I love playing heavy music, and I'm not saying guys that hit light or guys that have really good technique. Like one of my favorite drummers, Matt from Periphery. He's got unbelievable kind of swoosh technique, which preserves the sticks, preserves his cymbals and himself. But I love getting behind a drum kit and smashing fuck out of it, especially in a live setting. So my cymbal budget is through the roof.
Yeah.
But yeah. There you go, Balbeck's. My cymbals break before your sticks do.
Hi, Balbeck, go fuck your drums.
I do remember writing about that review. I did feel sorry for the snare drum that day, but talking about the snare, have you changed the sound of the snare in the last couple of years, or have you kept it same, or is it difficult to get the sound that you want with the snare drum?
Again, this snare that came with the Tama drum kit is like a diamond in the rough. It is really, really good. A lot of metal guys go metal snare drums, or sorry, if you're playing slower metal, you go for a deeper snare drum or a really high ping. I don't like that popcorn snare drum sound.
Yeah.
And every time I look at another snare, I think, yeah, it's good, but I still really like mine.
Yeah.
It's the same with my ride cymbal. I've had my ride cymbal since, so I'm 29 now. I've had my ride cymbal since I was 16 years old, and I can't see me changing it.
Yeah.
Because every time I play it does what I want it to do. Whenever we record it, I'm like, yeah, that's not missing anything.
That's absolutely brilliant. Now, listen, guys, can I say it's been an absolute pleasure? It looks as if after the year of corruption, you had a few live shows and stuff like that. There's been a couple of lineup changes. You've got your new members, and then you built your new studio. You've now got your songs together. It looks as if Bloodthread are back, and you're ready to take us all on again. So it's only good things that are looking up the way for Bloodthread, and I'm certainly glad to hear it. And I wish you guys all the best. Send me all your stuff. We'll promote the shit out of it, and we'll certainly do it. All right, guys. It's been an absolute.
Thank you very much, Ricky.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah, cheers, man. All the best.